Hi friends, it's Kayla Moran and welcome back to the Let's Get Candid podcast. How is everybody doing today? Happy Thursday, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever day or time you're listening. So happy to be back on the mic with you guys. How is everybody doing? I feel like I'm in a much better place than I have been in the last few days, and that makes me feel really, really good. I feel like the last month or so was just my down era, and now I'm entering the beginning of hot girl summer. I just feel like I'm in my social era. I'm social butterfly. I want to go out and be around people. I want to meet people. I want to be social, want to have a good time, and summer is almost here, so what better time for this to hit me like Cupid's arrow. Also, I saw something on TikTok today which is so true, 100% true, that says when you stop putting out the energy out there that you are wanting a relationship and that you are looking for something, when you are so prioritized on you and focused on you and work or your friendships or whatever, anything else, that is when life rewards you with the most options to choose from in the dating pool. And nothing has been more true than the last 5 months of my life. It's the funniest thing. I went into 2023 saying, I don't want a relationship and I'm not going to be looking for one. And I've just had a great time. I've met a lot of different people, and I'm single and I'm enjoying being single, and I don't want to be in a relationship with anyone. And none of them have really caught my attention truly to make an impact for me to be I want to pursue this. But it's been really cool just being able to meet all these people. I think that's also why I'm in my social butterfly era. I'm really just enjoying exploring my city, making new friends and meeting new people and just having a blast. And because of all the people that I've met, the opportunities that are coming my way, work-wise and just social life-wise and friendship-wise, and just so many great things are happening. And I'm just really, really excited to continue this hot girl summer era that I am in. And thought I would share that with you guys. What else is going on? I feel like, actually I'll share that in my suck and sweet of the week. So let's do that. My suck of the week is that I've been feeling very stiff lately, and I know it's part of it is stress and part of it is I've just not been sleeping well because of the stress. And also I have always had good posture. I'm a dancer, so I'm pretty back is straight, shoulders are back, but I definitely noticed that in the last few years, I have hunched over a lot more than I usually do, and it's definitely taking its toll on my body. So I want to start getting into more workout classes. I'm thinking about getting ClassPass. One of my friends on social media hosts free yoga classes every week at a park in the city, so I'm excited to go to that and start going to her classes and just being a lot more active, because I can tell that my body is feeling it, just being more sedentary and sitting down all day and working from home. I don't really leave these four walls if I don't have reason to, so I definitely need to get up and move my body more. And the physical bonus is that's exactly what it is. It's a bonus, but I definitely, for my mental health, I know it would be really, really good for me. So that's something I'm looking forward to and wanting to implement this year, or at least for the rest of the year. And also, hot girl summer, go meet people when taking workout classes and look good for the summer too. But that's always a bonus. It's all for mental health, just feeling good in my body. And my sweet of the week is, with all these people that I'm meeting, I'm just getting invited to cool opportunities and events. And I got to go to a grand opening of a restaurant in Miami last week, and I was standing right next to Dave Grutman, which, if you're from Miami or are familiar with Miami and all the clubs and the party restaurants in Miami, he is the owner of them, or at least most of them. And it was really cool. I was just standing at this event and I thought I saw his wife, and I was that lady looks really familiar. Where do I know her from? Who is that? And it took me 5 minutes to realize oh, it was her. And then I turn around and he's literally standing 2 feet away from me. And I was oh wow, hi. Did not introduce myself, did not say anything. I don't really like to do that when I see celebrities or important or famous people. I like to give them their privacy. They're humans too. But it was just really cool to be that close proximity to him. I love some of his restaurants. I haven't been to all of them. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cool that I was in such close proximity to them. And Natasha was at that event too. She's a Latin reggaeton artist, which I love her music. So it was really cool to see her. She was stunning in person. And I also have kind of become like a bar exam whisperer. I've had like 5 or 6 calls with different 3Ls or people taking the Florida bar from out of state on bar prep tips and like what I did to study for the bar and kind of easing their fears about the bar exam, because people are so petrified of this exam. I feel like they just put this really weird like pressure and like, you're not gonna have a life for 2 months, like bar prep is your life like mentality, and that's so not true. And I love that I've been able to assure people that they can have a life and that bar prep doesn't have to be completely miserable. You can still have fun this summer while prioritizing school and bar prep, because you're studying for 2 months straight, everything you learn in law school and more. But yeah, that's been really cool. And again, I owe it to the platform that I have and the network that I have. I've made so many friends in the last few months on social media, and like they've become in real life friends. And through people finding me on LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram, people reach out to me asking for advice and for help and becoming a part of my circle. And it's just, I love sharing the love, and it feels really, really good. So, if you are studying for the bar exam, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I documented it on the podcast last summer. I documented it on TikTok last summer, and I'm always happy to continue the conversation, because I think this exam is hard and it's tough and it's a mental game, but that's 90% of it is mental. And if you have the right confidence and the right strategy and the right mindset going in, I think it's very, very doable and you're gonna do great. And I want to help reassure you and give you the tools and resources to succeed and pass on the first try. And yeah, so I've had a couple calls in the last few weeks, and I have had a couple conversations just out in public, and it just feels really, really good every time someone, after I've talked to them, is like, you really reassured me, you really made me feel more comfortable and like better about it, or they're just really grateful to me for sharing and being so open about it. And it is so nice to hear that, and it feels really good to be able to reflect on my bar prep experience when it worked for me and be able to use that to help people. And yeah, so I'm feeling really like good in myself right now, minus like physically. Like once I start working out, I know I'll feel better there, but just like emotionally and like confident too. I feel really excited for what's to come. And I just saw something on TikTok that said, when you go through a minor depressive episode and now you're back, and it's like, can I talk my shit again? Like that TikTok sound. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm back. Like, let's talk. Let's be social. Let's go out. Let's be wild. Let's do our thing. And like, I'm back, you're going to be sick of me. The Kylie audio, like, I'm back. You're going to be sick of me. And I'm really excited about it. But anyway, I'm also really excited about this week's guests. I love when I get to have Miami girls on the podcast, and this week I have 2, the co-founders of Hive the Agency, a local marketing agency that is co-founded by actually one of the influencers that I started following years ago, and I didn't even know she had a marketing agency, and I don't even remember how we got connected. I think, yeah, one of their clients reached out to me, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so cool. I love your approach to marketing and media and the content that they create for brands and the content they create for themselves. And I just was really, really inspired by them. And I was like, I want to have you guys on the podcast because I want to share your story, because I think there is no such thing as saturation in the market. There's room for everybody. Every agency attracts a different type of client, and every client's looking for something different. So yeah, I have a lot of different people who do a lot of similar things, but I think the approach and the passion, the reason behind it is always different, and that to me is what's most exciting. And I was really looking forward to having 2 girls that are around my age in my city that I can resonate with their story. And we had such a great time. I've run into them out a couple times at a co-working space, at events, and we just have such a good time every time we get together. So I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this episode. I'll link the episode with their client, Gio Ingleto, below so you can go listen to her and see the type of work that they do. Please let me know who you guys want to see next, what industries, what topics, what guests you want to see on. I'm always looking for new ones. And like always, I want to make this podcast for you guys just as much as it is for me. So thank you guys so much for listening. It really does mean a lot. If you liked it, please leave a rating and review. Please subscribe to the show, share with a friend, tag us as you're listening. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next week. Me, Ale, and Jocelyn. Hive agency. What's something that people wouldn't know about you just from following you? And who wants to answer first? Told you guys I'd get you. I love doing that.
Yeah, I think it's the same for both of us, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know if we are extremely vocal on our Instagram or, well, maybe on our website, but that we used to work together in a very similar type role, very different. But yeah, I think that's something that not a lot of people know just by following us.
Yeah. And you, Jocelyn, also are an influencer yourself. So is there anything like on that end that people wouldn't know about you just from following you?
I would not call myself.
I don't call myself that either, but technically that is something we can do.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So I call myself the Frosé Queen, and that's kind of how my account got started. In New York, I would cover restaurants and bars that were doing frosé. It had a moment, it not so much anymore, but maybe we could bring it back.
I think you should. Honestly.
I'm down. I'm very down. It's about to be summer. It's about to be really hot. I'm here for it.
We always have a bottle of rosé in the office, actually.
That's
we have a few
cute.
now. Yeah.
So all we need then is a machine.
Yeah.
And we can make our own. We can label it. We can, I mean, is this
there you go, business idea?
All of us?
I mean, I'm not opposed. I'm actually really sad because we had a mini fridge, or like we had a wine fridge in our house. We built a bar now, but we had one in like the main kitchen and it went bad. I guess it was like really old. It went bad. So like all the bottles of wine that were in there kind of went bad because it took us a few days to realize that like it wasn't cold anymore. And it was all like the whites and the rosés. And I'm really sad because that's like my stash. I drink red wine at dinner, or like if I'm at home and like not going anywhere, but I'm technically allergic to red wine. So I can only have it if I'm not really like in public or like going out, because I'm gonna break out and like not hives. Like I just look like I'm sunburned and I'm really hot. And so like I try not to drink that much, but the white wine and the rosé is mine. And I'm really sad because like we had like 3 bottles and they're all bad now. And so I need to restock.
Whatever you want.
But
yeah, we'll do a happy hour.
I'm down. So since you guys used to work together, how did you guys get started in your careers? Like, what did you study? Did you always know you wanted to go into marketing and PR? Like, kind of tell me about like the origin story of like each of your individual careers.
Okay, so I didn't know this was a career that I was even going to tap into when I first started studying, like at all. I went to UM and I did economics, finance, and entrepreneurship. Definitely was curious about like marketing in general, but it was not something that I saw for myself. I literally thought I was going to work at a bank, which is like really weird. Like the concept of like sitting in an office with like a suit or something, like terrified me.
I mean, you guys know I'm a lawyer, so
well, I literally think a suit's cute, like if it's like pink and like, you know, wide leg or something. So yeah, and then it wasn't until my first internship where I was like, wait, maybe like this is something I want to explore. And my first internship was incredible. It kind of similar to what I do now, but it wasn't so much social. It started off with like pitching for like news outlets and stuff, which I'm definitely not a writer. I don't know how that continued until like my first job. But yeah, that's kind of how it all came to be.
That's cool. I wish I would have done an entrepreneurship major in college. Like looking back, I had no idea. I was never the kid that they thought that was going to be a business person or entrepreneur. Like my brother had that title and we flip-flopped. I'm now 100% the entrepreneurial one. And I wish I would have taken classes on it. I don't know how much it actually helped. Like I'm curious, like, did it really help you? But I wish I would have known to even try it.
Yeah, honestly, obviously it's so different than what you experience in like real life, but just like getting creative with like creating a concept, doing like a business plan, studying your audience, like that stuff was interesting and like it is useful now.
I wish I would have tried it. Jocelyn, you?
Okay, so I studied at FSU. I majored in fashion merchandising and product development. And I knew since like middle school, I wanted to live in New York. So the day I graduated from FSU, I moved to New York and I started working in the fashion industry. I was working at different showrooms, Macaj, and then I was working on the creative services team for Cole Haan. And that was honestly amazing. That was like during the time of when Nike was acquiring with them, and it was great. Then I went on to work for a big media agency called MEC Global. Now they're called Wavemaker, but I worked on the new business and marketing team. And that's kind of when I transitioned more to marketing, not so much like fashion campaigns, that sort of stuff. From there, I continued on with marketing. I was then at Condé Nast for a bit. And after a year, my now husband dragged me to Miami, which I'm very thankful about. But I left my job at Condé Nast, came down here, was working marketing at another role, and then came together, and that's how I met Alex. So it's kind of like it all kind of goes hand in hand, but fashion led me to marketing. And that's kind of, once I found that, I'm like, no, this is really what I want to do, what I like to do, what makes me feel good.
Yeah. Did you grow up in Florida though? That you went to FSU?
I lived in Florida at middle school, high school, and college.
Okay. And then you went to New York and then ended up
And then I
coming
went to
back.
New York. Yeah. And then I was in New York for 9 years, and then I came
Oh,
here.
at least you got a decent amount of time in New York. It wasn't like you only were there for a little bit, like you were.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was like my entire 20s. It was amazing. I loved it, but I'm really happy to be here now. And obviously every like opportunity has led me to, where we are now.
Yeah, for sure. I was just in New York last month. I do love New York. I don't think I could live there though. I think, I mean, there's very few places I think I could live because I'm Hispanic, and that's really important to me, and like the cultural aspects of things, like maybe Tampa, maybe New York, maybe even Dallas outside of Miami, but really that's about it. I just don't do the cold. So I'm like, I can't.
Hard. It's definitely hard. It definitely pushes you to a point where you're like, okay, I'm either gonna make it or I'm gonna break it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. But I think it's cool that fashion, like you got to fulfill that childhood dream, and then it led you to a whole nother career and like all these other opportunities. And then you created opportunities for yourself. So yeah, how did you guys meet? What role were you guys in that you met each other at?
So we used to work at another agency, and like obviously in this being like working at a startup, like you spend so much time together, although we were like on completely different accounts. We did notice that like we work really like similarly, same pace, we have a very similar vision. So we're like, hey, you know what? Let's just do this like our way. And so we kind of branched out and created Hive.
Yeah. So when did Hive get started? How did you come up with the name? What was like the initial, like, all right, we're doing this?
Oh my gosh, super fun fact. I tell everyone, Jocelyn doesn't want to give him credit, but her now husband came up with the name. So yeah, that's how that happened.
I know. He's our stand-in creative director. No, I'm just kidding. He would love that.
Cute though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, so we knew that when we started Hive, we wanted it to be super collaborative. Like we had kind of like the vision for what we wanted for the agency. And as we were brainstorming, he just like popped out of nowhere and he's like, wait a minute, how about Hive? And then I spoke to Alex about it and we were both like, wait, this is great. Like it really has a meaning behind it. It's fun, it's playful. Like we don't take ourselves too seriously. As long as we love what we're doing, our clients are happy, like let's enjoy it. We work so much, let's have fun while doing it.
Yeah. I love that.
And we started almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was your
That's
first question.
cool. Yeah. I feel like I know every time you guys, I see like a story or something, like the graphics are so great. Like everything you guys are doing is really cool. So it's cool to see how much it's grown in just a few years, and how like, is it like a pinch moment still? Like what has the growth been like for you guys?
Oh my gosh. Like really fast at the beginning. We're like kind of like taking it slow. We're like figuring it out. We would meet like maybe twice a week and like chill and have rosé or like picantes. and then we're like, wait, we might have to start meeting a little bit more often. Like what's going on? And then it's been a year of like a lot of growth, which we were obviously like really happy about. But I don't know, every day is like a pinch me moment. Am I allowed to curse?
Oh yeah, you can curse. No, it's that's how I feel too.
Okay.
That's
So
so
yeah,
funny.
you can curse.
She's like, I'm not gonna curse. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
No,
I
it's all
wasn't
good.
curse for like 2 months, and here we are.
No, it's okay. So when you guys started, were you still working at the other agency, or did you guys go fully like we need to leave and start this on our own, and you went all in? Like, tell me a little bit about like the strategic side of it.
Yeah. Do you want me to go?
Go for it.
We knew when we left, one, we needed kind of a little bit of time, like downtime to just get our head straight and focus again and kind of just get to a good page where we were ready. So we took some time, to ourselves. And then once we were both kind of like, all right, let's hit the ground running, that is when we built the brand. And I don't know, I for sure a pinch me moment every day. We're always super aligned on everything.
Yeah,
And like we
literally.
have so much fun doing it. I don't know. It's been great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, honestly. Like people get like Sunday scaries or something. I swear to God, I look forward to like Mondays because it's fun. Like we all have such a good relationship
Yeah.
that like it's just always a good time.
Yeah.
That's so important. I want to talk about that, like hiring a team and building it out. But on like the logistics, strategic side of things, like for someone who wants to go off on their own and have that like downtime and that break before they start. Like for me, I'm doing it simultaneously, so I can't really speak on it. But how did you guys prepare yourselves, like financially, business wise, like setting up the legalities of the business? Like, did you like have a timeline? Did you have a plan? Like, what did that look like? Did one of you like quit first? How much did you have saved up? That kind of stuff.
I was saving for a bit, to be honest. I wasn't really prepping like for exactly like how many months it was going to take or not. Like I think we kind of just like went with the flow. And like I said, we took our time with it. We didn't want to rush it and like do it right. So like, I mean, it took us about like 4 or 5 months to kind of like get everything together. And yeah, with financials, it was mainly just like keeping a budget of like what I could spend, what I couldn't spend. But it wasn't like as organized as you would think. Like at least financial wise for me.
Yeah,
Oh no,
no,
same. I feel you.
same. And just like being smart about like tapping into like our like family and friends for like how to do things. Like,
Oh yeah.
we would ask like people that we know legal questions, like just being super savvy about it. And like when you leave a place, it's that risk. It's like we both knew. I mean, we didn't know if Hive was going to be successful. We had no idea, but we were like, we're willing to take the risk. And I think if you have like passion behind it, it's going to work out. And if you have good morals and like do it the right way, things will work out. So we were kind of like, okay, this is really scary, but let's do it and let's do it right. So I think like that also goes hand in hand with taking that leap of faith.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think passion is like is a really big part of it, and it's important, but it's also you have to be willing to work for, you have to be willing to get savvy and ask around and ask for help. Did you guys have any like resources that you really went to, like whether it's like Business Insider or something along those lines, that like that was where you got a lot of information from, or was it like mentorship? Like who did you go to for help, like resources?
I think it was a little bit of both. Like we Googled a lot of things, just like anything really. And then, yeah, it's like Josh said, it was like tapping into your network. It could like literally help from a family member to someone that you may have crossed paths with in like previous jobs. I think that everyone's advice is a little bit different. So we just kind of found like a happy middle ground to like what would work for us and what we were both super comfortable with. But yeah, just like literally asking around from other people's experience, our own experience also. Cause I think through like previous jobs in general, like we take so much from like just being an employee to an intern to anything really. And just from like observing how other people are running companies, you realize like, oh yes, this is something I want to take and that's valuable or what not. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything, honestly.
Yeah, I think people don't really realize how much value there is in learning what you like, and but more so even what you don't like about, and that goes for everything, like relationships, jobs, bosses, like anything. And part of the reason why I knew that I wanted to go off on my own was because I was like, I'm I don't need to work 8-hour days. I can get a lot done in like a 4 to 6 hour day and be efficient and have more time for myself. So why am I going to go work in a job that I have to be butt in chair for 8 hours when half the time I'm like, I just knew like what worked for me and my work ethic and my efficiency and my skill level, like little things like that, or just the boss that I have now, like he's just now learning to be a boss. And I appreciate that so much because it has taught me a lot about what I want to do when I start hiring people for my own firm, probably in 2 to 3 years, not anytime soon, but like I'm gonna at one point hopefully have to, and like how I want to be as a boss. And you learn from all those experiences, good, bad, or ugly. Speaking of, how has it been? Like, how do you delegate roles? Is one of you more business admin? Was one of you more creative? And like hiring a team, where did you start with that? How did you know when to hire and who did you hire first?
Well, I think the moment we knew we needed to hire someone is when the work became too much for the two of us.
Yeah.
And when we were like, all right, it's now time to shift into delegating and us focusing on bringing in new business, focusing more on like just the business side in general. That's when we hired our first employee. We're like, okay, we need to pass the baton. Like, let's get somebody in here who understands our vision. So we really for a while did it ourselves and it was amazing, but then we're like, okay, if we want to scale, we need to kind of like let go a little bit.
Yeah. Was that scary?
Yes. What? The biggest control person ever. So annoying. So yeah, it was really hard. It literally got to a point that's like, oh my God, you know what? Just like review my work. Like I can't even let you do anything. So yeah, it's obviously something I'm still struggling with, but you know, working on it. It's been almost a year. It's been over a year at this point, and I still like have issues with that. But it's because like our clients and like Hive is like our baby, so we just like want to make sure that it's well taken care of, and it is. We have an incredible team.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, for sure. And to be honest, like our role is like we do everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we have not even like defined.
We don't
like,
have titles.
Sometimes we're HR, sometimes we're the creative director, sometimes we just do everything. And I think it kind of works for us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe at some point we'll have to be like, okay, you focus more on this, you focus more on that. But at least for me, like I like doing a little bit of everything. So I don't know. That's kind of how we have it set up right now.
It works. I make the coffee in the morning. It's great.
Yeah. Do you each of you have like one set of tasks that you prefer over the other? Like, since you both do everything, you're like, I don't really want to do that. Like, can you handle that one today? Or like, or is it just like whatever, whoever has the ability to do it does it?
Yeah, like I feel from what I think how we organize it, it's almost like whoever like latches onto the project first and then kind of continues leading it. And then like if like one of us jumps in, then like I don't know, it's just kind of like we both kind of jump in here and there, but sometimes like one project will get started from Alex, another time it'll get started from me. It's almost like whoever thinks of it first.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, that's good. I think it's good that you guys are so similar and your strengths are the same and your weaknesses are the same, that you hire and you delegate to your weaknesses, but you guys are able to do your strengths. Like, I think so many people go into business with really good friends or family and they don't have like the ability to separate that. And like, maybe you guys don't have to because it's the same strengths and weaknesses, but some people have opposite ones, but then they like are fighting and that doesn't work. It's like, you have to have those defined roles, but maybe for you guys, you don't have to. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's a unique approach. And I think that's something good for people to keep in mind. Like, you don't always have to have like an opposite person. It can work with someone who's similar to you. You just have to be willing to kind of the way you guys do, like whoever gets it first does it. And
yeah, I mean, compete. We're always also in like the office together. So we'll like, even if one person's leading a project, we'll like always be discussing it out loud anyways. It really, everyone does everything.
Yeah. And it helps because you're also small and you are together all the time. Everyone's willing to help out. I think that's important too.
I can ask you a question.
Okay. Oh, hit me.
So you want to start your firm in like 2 to 3 years?
Well, I already started it. I started my own law firm technically November, and I launched it officially in January. So I have 2 businesses. Well, technically 3 now. So my first business is like my influencer business itself. And that includes like my podcast. I don't really make money off of this. It's a hobby, but it's, it's a business because it does take a significant amount of time. So like my influencer business is one, and that's like my hobby business. And then I have Connect to Social, which is influencer management. And then I have Kayla Moran Law, which is my law firm. And Connect to Social, I knew I was starting it about this time last year, and I officially started it in like September-ish, I think. And then Kayla Moran Law, I started in November and officially launched in January. So yeah, I think the reason I say 2 to 3 years is that's when I think I'll fully be able to like be off the ground and start hiring and like scaling it. I just right now I'm at the point where I work a part-time job at a personal injury firm and I don't even have the time to devote to my own stuff. And it's hard financially. I'm not able to go off on my own just yet. So hopefully 2 to 3 years I'll be able to. I mean, I'm making that leap sooner, but I won't be able to be fully financially like supported by my businesses until like 2 to 3 years from now. And then at that point I can start hiring and scaling. So it'll be interesting. I'm doing it really slowly as well, but I have the luxury that I do have I've been able to stay on in a different job to help me, but I'm at the point where I don't have enough hours in the day to do it all. So it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That the number one question I get asked besides like, so the number 2 questions I get asked, one is how do I manage it all? And the other is how did I get started? And it's both like, I just did it. Like, I really I didn't let myself think about it. I couldn't. And like, because of that, there was a lot of like fear, and there still is a lot of fear and imposter syndrome, and it's scary as hell. But I also know that this was the best path for me. So we'll see. I have a feeling it'll be a lot quicker than 2 to 3 years. It has the potential to be. I don't know. Like right now, I'm part of why I'm so scared is because this is growing faster and bigger than I expected it to, and I don't have the physical capability myself or the financial capability to do it the way that I want to. So it'll be interesting to see.
Oh gosh. Well, it'll be amazing. You'll figure out what works for you and what's right for you. And everything's always a stepping stone or a learning lesson.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason and you learn from every opportunity. That's a good question for you guys. Like, what are the biggest lessons you guys have learned since being business owners and founders of a company, especially something like this where you are so like invested in other people's businesses and part of a team for other people?
Well, I have mine. Being picky with the people you surround yourself with. Like that goes clients included.
Oh,
We're
100%.
very picky. Like we'd rather turn down business than work with someone who is just not a nice or a good person. Like that for me is just like I want to be surrounded by good people.
And was that from the beginning, or was that something you had to like kind of be like, okay, we should stop taking on certain clients?
It kind of started from my past where like I worked in different situations that were just not healthy. So I think when starting Hive, I knew I'm like, I only want to work with people that make me feel good and that are, like a positive influence. So, like throughout the years, you kind of like learn that.
Yeah. No, I had to learn that already. I mean, I always was gonna be picky. Like I knew I had like an idea of like the type of clients that I wanted, the potential clients I was gonna look for, but I haven't really sought out clients myself yet. It's all been word of mouth or like people ask me what I do, and then I'll be like, hey, I do this, and like if you need anything, like let me know. And that's really the only time I've like put myself out there as like I'd be willing to work with you. A lot of it has come my way, but I've had to learn because of that, of it coming my way, the being picky. Like I think it was last week or the week before, I had a potential client who marked up my entire management contract. And I was like, at this point, it doesn't really feel like you trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to be a part of your team, you need to trust me because I'm the one representing you. And at that point, if you don't trust me, then why do you still want me to help you? Like, you're limiting what I can do and what I'm best at. And it just doesn't feel right to me anymore. And they didn't really understand that. And I was like, look, like, I understand that you're a friend of a friend, and I'm really grateful that you wanted to work with me. It means a lot. And I will still support you and help you out how I can and like be your friend. But this just doesn't feel right to me anymore. And it was like, that was the first time I've ever, and I'm still like, did I make a mistake? Not in saying no to her, but in how I said it, because I definitely let the emotions get in the way at first. And then I had to like, when I followed up and I was like, thank you so much for meeting with me. Like, I'm still learning and I'm sorry that my emotions got in the way, but I think it's for the best. Like, I tried to like fix it, but like, I know I did nothing wrong, but I definitely was like, I could have handled that a lot better. So I'm learning that too. I think that's a good
That
one.
part's tricky. It's like separating your emotions from like business, like especially because we're so close to like clients and to each other. Sometimes we have to like take a minute and be like, wait, this is like not a personal decision. This is something like business.
Yeah.
And like it happens. Sometimes you do just like get like way too invested emotionally, personally, and it affects so much.
Yeah, that's what happened for me. It was like, I kept saying like, it's in the best interest of my business. Like, this is a business. I do want to help you. And like, I do get very invested in my clients, which is why I'm picky in who I work with, because I am very, I am negotiating on their behalf. It's money. It's their livelihoods. It's like their content they're creating is personal. So I'm seeing that and I'm discussing that with the brand. So like, it is very personal, but at the same time, like, it is a business decision, and I had to, so I did keep reminding myself of that and them that, but it was still hard. Alex, what's like your biggest lesson that you've learned in all of this?
Really, like, and I guess everything really does go hand in hand, but it's like taking a moment to like stop and remember why I started everything in the first place.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, like, you get so, like, I don't know, there's like always like a wind that like you'll catch, and you're like, okay, thinking of the future, I want to do 5 million other things. And then we're like, wait, hold on 1 second. Is that even what I actually want to do and I wanted to do? Or like, you'll, I don't know, have like a huge client come to you and they want to do everything, but then you're like, wait, this isn't aligned with at all where you kind of want to go as a company. We're like, no. And even just like with clients, like you get so invested and then you're like, wait, 1 second, I'm not in house. I am your agency. I'm here to support you. Like everything kind of goes full circle. I'm just really reminding myself, like, wait, this is why Jocelyn and I started, because we have like the same vision, the same goal. And yeah, the world is so crazy. Everything changes every single day. And yeah, we just like need a refresher on
I think that's so important. That's
mindset.
something that that's honestly how I got through law school. And I talk about it a lot on the podcast, like having a why, a reason to get up every day and keep going, even on the days that I didn't want to go to class or I didn't want to do whatever. And even now, it's like I get so bogged down sometimes. I have friends who are first year, just like me, and they're working at some of the top firms in the country, some in this city, some in other big cities, and they're making insane amounts of money. And I have to remind myself, like, why I didn't want that.
Yeah.
Even though, like, sometimes it's just like, I joke, like, there's two jokes. One is, I wish I could sell my soul and do big law just like them. And the other is like, why can't I be a trophy wife and just not have to work at all? Because sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, sometimes it feels like I do so much, and I'm not a people pleaser, but I am a giver. So it's like I do so much for other people and I feel like I'm not getting anything out of it. So I'm just like, God damn it. Like, I wish I could just be a trophy wife and sit and look pretty and like everything be done for me and not have to do shit all day. I'm exhausted. And then others, I'm like, days I'm working and I'm like, I'm working so hard. Like, why am I not making more money? I wish I could, like, if I'm going to be working this damn hard, I might as well be getting paid good money for it. So then I'm like, I wish I would have gone that route. But then I hear their struggles about it every single day. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that's why I chose, like, one of my friends tonight, we were supposed to go to dinner, and like, he didn't answer all morning. So I was like, okay, he got slammed. Like, I noted, like, this is probably not happening, but I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'll wait till he says something. it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He was like, yeah, by the way, I don't think I can make dinner anymore. And I was like, I figured as much, but okay, let me know. I was going to be at an event anyway. So I was like, I'll be in the area. Like I can stay a little bit longer to give you more of an opportunity. Cause the event was like till 7. So I was like, I'll give him till like 8. I can go eat, take myself to dinner, like, and just like maybe get a drink afterwards. It's like 8:30 and he's like, yeah, like she told me to just go buy a pre-made dinner at Whole Foods. Like I'm not leaving anytime soon. And I was like, okay, I'm going home. Bye. And he's like miserable. He was pissed. He didn't want it. He was like, I'm sad. Like, sorry that I can't see you. Like, I just don't, and I don't even think I'll be free this weekend. It looks like he's gonna be working all weekend long. And I was like, yeah, that's why I don't do that job. Like I was much as the money he makes and like that he loves the work, the hours, and like he just doesn't have his life. Like it's not his own. And that's the benefit of doing what I do is that I can kind of like, all right, gotta go have an event. Like I can go kind of do whatever I want. And that's nice.
Yeah, there's always something. Like it's either you're making a lot of money but your boss sucks, or like you're making no money but you're so happy. Like it's like finding that, well, first defining like what makes you happy. Like are you driven by money? Are you driven by happiness, or both? Like and it's kind of going for what ultimately makes you happy. Obviously, I feel like everybody wants both, but be patient with yourself, like keep working hard and you're going to get there. You know,
Oh, yeah.
It takes time, but you'll get there and it'll be amazing and so rewarding once you like you get to that point.
And it already has been too. It's just like reminding myself of that. And like, we all have to remind ourselves of that and knowing that why, like you said, Alex, and like keeping that at the forefront, even on those days that's why it's so crucial. And it allows you to decide like, is this still what I want to do? Like I'm lucky, like we all have degrees or experience and network like connections in other industries. If we ever decide like this isn't really what I want anymore, you can go somewhere else and like it's transferable skills. And like that was super important to me. And my parents were like, if you're gonna go this route, I want you to work at a firm for a little while, even on the side, just so if it doesn't work out or you decide never mind, you can transfer to a firm. And like it's not like you wasted time doing it, even though your own experience wasn't a waste, but like that you are marketable to employers. And I was like, okay, I didn't want to do that, but I get where you're coming from. So yes, but yeah, reminding yourself of that why is super important.
Yeah, and it's totally okay if your why changes. Like there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's also being okay with accepting that.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I went to law school wanting to do something completely different, and it was halfway through that I was like, why am I even here? COVID being happening during that time also helped because like we all were at home and like got the opportunity to think deeply of like why we were doing everything we were doing. And I was like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Like, but I didn't really, I was like, do I transfer home? Do I drop out? And my parents were like, hey, we'll support you whatever you do. But like, if you drop out, like you are going to get a job. You're not sitting on your ass. Like you're immediately going to go find a job. And I was like, no, I wasn't planning to, but like got it. And like, I joke about the trophy wife thing because I'm the least trophy wife person out there. Like, I don't know how to sit still. Like I need to work.
I'd be so bored.
I'd be so bored.
I mean, it sounds depressing. So.
Oh, the reason I have so many jobs and people don't know how I do everything I do is because when I am bored, I'm like, what can I do right? I'm like itching and like I put so much on my plate. I need to like relax. Yeah, I need to learn how to be productively resting. But I was like, I don't dropping out's not the answer, but like I don't want that. So like what can I do? And no one talks about entrepreneurship in law school. Like everyone knows that there's lawyers who go off on their own, solopreneur lawyers. Like that's not a new concept. But law schools don't preach that. They don't teach that. They don't help you do that. So it was super risky what I did, but I just knew it was the right path. And like my why all of a sudden changed. Like, how can money is important to me, but so is happiness, and not just happiness, but being fulfilled in what I do. Like wanting, like how you like love going in on Mondays. Like I know not every day I'm going to love it, but I want to overall like what I do and like enjoy it and like the people I'm working with and be able to choose the people that I'm working with. Whereas at a firm, until I'm a partner, I'm not choosing anything about my life. And I knew ultimately like that was not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to pick And so that was ultimately like part of my why. And yeah, so I think knowing that it can change and accepting that and trusting in it. And like one thing for me has been my intuition. I don't know if you guys are like into intuition at all or like go with the flow, but for me it's all about like what feels right, but not just like emotion. It's not an emotions feeling. It's like an internal like gut feeling of like this feels right. I need to listen to this a little more.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like will try to listen to my gut and base a lot of like answers on that.
Yeah. What are your favorite types of clients to work on? Like what industries are you in? What kind of clients you work with? What are your favorite things to do?
Oh my God, our clients are all over the place. I know people like ask us and we're like, okay, well, we have all types of clients. We don't have like a specific niche, like industry. I think we're very unique in the work that we produce and like our concepts and our ideas. So it kind of like attracts all different types, which I think is really fun for us, also really challenging. But we have like a lot of real estate clients, beauty, law, development,
We used to work with fashion clients, but right now, currently none.
tech. Yeah.
That's
So like,
cool.
yeah, so it's like very different.
I like that you said that like it's challenging and that's something that I wanted too. Like I wanted to be able to choose my clients so I can do different things depending on what I'm in the mood for or like what's going on. And like I want to like try out different things. And I think that's really cool that you guys get to creatively challenge yourself depending on the client that you work with in whatever event or partnership or whatever it is that you're working on with them. What are your favorite like types of events or types of like work to create for a client or with a client?
I would say like I love when clients come to us with like in the beginning stages of some clients, they come to us with not really knowing who they are, like what they look like, what just feeling lost and confused. And I love when we can be like, all right, let's sit down, let's talk about your goals, and let's almost like rebrand you completely. Like your look and feel, your tone, the direction of everything. And then that's where like the magic starts happening and we're coming up with really cool campaign ideas and partnerships. And it's just kind of like, our goal is to make our clients successful and cool and elevated and whatever their goals are. But that's what excites me is like kind of like shifting them into this like new look.
Yeah, that's cool.
I agree, honestly. I think what we do is really rewarding. And like what Joss was just saying, that is like one of the most rewarding parts when like you see someone's Instagram or TikTok or newsletters or any of their marketing material and you see it's consistent and that we've kind of created that consistency. Like you can tell immediately, let's say like the grid of Instagram, like you can tell when they started working with us versus when they didn't.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
I like that too. Yeah, I do that a lot with my influencer management clients, which is why like with that one client that was like marking it up, I'm like, I don't do branding and I'm not a publicist, but in a way that's a part of my role too. Like because I'm helping you, like the way that I'm a part of their team. They're like, do you think this brand, even a brand will come to them and they're like, what do you think? Like, do you think I should take this? Like sometimes, not always, but sometimes they're like, I'm not sure about this one. Like, do you think it fits into overall? Because I may know even more than them what's coming down the pipeline because I'm working on contracts in the background. So like having I do in a small way have a little bit of input creatively or concept wise. Like they're like the brand wants a concept idea. This is like these are the talking points. Like they want me to come up with a creative concept within those. And they come to me and they're like, which one do you think? Like I'm in between these two. Which one do you like better? Like this is kind of what is down the pipeline for me content wise the next few weeks. Like where can we fit this in? Which one? And like I help them choose. So I need them to trust me. I need to enjoy them and trust them and what they like. And like, I like seeing not just like when they start working with me, the contracts that they get are elevated, the amounts that they're getting is elevated, obviously, but also just like they feel more comfortable in their content because it's like they know that someone has their back and is like supporting them and creating it. And like, yeah, it's a very close relationship. And yeah, so I like that part of it too. And sometimes they're like, I want to be on a podcast and like, can you help me with that? And I'm like, it's the same exact pitch email that I would send to a brand. So sure. Even though it's
Yeah.
not technically, I'm not a publicist, I kind of do slightly do some of that too. And it's funny because I used to say that I wanted to be a publicist. Like when I was little, like in middle school,
Oh my God.
there was a book that I read, and the series is over now, and she like the author starting the next generation, like the kids. But in that series, I started reading in middle school, and it ended while I was in like college or something. It's like a really long series. And the girl, one of them goes to law school, and she ends up becoming a publicist. Like she went to law school for the business aspect of it and became a publicist. And I was like, I had just started figuring out like maybe I think I want to go to law school. And I was like, wait, I can be a publicist. That's really cool. Because I liked, entertainment and events and hosting and things like that. So I was like, I think I might be a publicist. And little did I know, like, that is going to end up being part of what I do, even
That's
though
so
not,
cool.
I
Yeah.
don't work in PR. Podcast is a PR tool now, and social media is a PR tool now. So it all kind of like everything really does happen for a reason. And it's funny how it all works out.
That's
Oh, yeah.
amazing. It really sounds like everything like in your life is kind of like interwoven and kind of just like a stepping stone for something even more amazing. And it's good how it's led you all to this place.
Yeah. No, it's wild looking back how like that's just this what I just said right now. Like that's not something I thought about. I think
Yeah.
in a really long time, if ever, about like the publicist angle, like the connection part that I told you guys earlier or like offline, like that part I've always known. Like I've always been a networker. I've always been a connection builder. And I like connecting people. And that's the reason why I named my management agency Connect to Social in Spanish because I'm not Hispanic, but like that's where it came from. I like to connect. Let's get candid. Let's connect and like talk and like about everything and anything. My friend, my law school best friend, actually, he's the one that helped me come up with that name. Fun fact.
Oh, I love it. It is a
Um,
good name. What series number is this?
this will probably be in the 80s.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So today, 72 went live today. So I think this will probably be in the like late 80s, maybe early 90s, but I think late 80s. So yeah, I've been doing this. September will be 2 years, which is
That's
wild. And it's just, yeah, I'll tell you guys the name story offline because I've shared it on the podcast before. But something you said, Alex, too, like you get a lot of ideas and you have to remind yourself like why you're doing like what you're doing right now. That's something for me that I've struggled with too. Like I said, I never thought I would be an entrepreneur ever in my life. I was always like gonna be a businesswoman. I was a poli sci major, and then I changed it to my minor. Like I thought I was gonna go into politics. I worked in politics in college, and I thought I didn't want to be the politician, but I was like the chief of staff or like on behind the scenes, but like high up there. Like that's my thing. Like I wanted to be like the admin, the processes, the systems, and like the strategicness, even public relations in a way. Like that's it really just all makes sense. But with that, like I had no idea I was going to be an entrepreneur. But now I'm like, every time a new idea comes, I'm like, I have a new business idea every week. And I need to like reel it in. Like you cannot do everything yet. Like, but I have a list of ideas. Like I am going to be a serial entrepreneur. My family, I know it. My dad already like we'll sit and have like wine nights every couple weekends and just like talk about life or business or how work is going or whatever's happening in the world. And the other day he was like, that business idea you have, like I think like with the market and the way things are going real estate wise, like we need to start like thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I literally can't afford to yet. And he's like, I know, but like just hear me out. And I was like, oh, okay, like whoa, like but the fact that now my parents are like supportive and are into it. And at first, like the scariest thing was telling my parents, like, I don't think I want to be a traditional lawyer. It was never that I didn't want to be a lawyer, but it was more so like I didn't want to be like a lawyer in the way that they think. And
Yeah.
that was really scary, but they've actually been really supportive of me. And it's just funny to see how it all comes together. But yeah, I have so many ideas. And I have to remind myself, like, okay, this is why I'm doing it this way. And this is why it has to be this way right now. And it's okay if that changes and you adapt as you go, but like take a breather, take a step back. Like you can't do everything when you want it to. It doesn't work that way.
Write them all down now.
Yeah. No, I definitely we'll talk in a few years when that one can come to fruition because that one will definitely need a lot more like marketing and help than what I'm doing right now. But
It's amazing. Love
yeah.
it.
But I think it's really cool what you guys are doing and how like it really stemmed from like, I think like, and then you guys know this on the marketing side, like any product or service it does really well, a business it does really well is because it came out of a need of the founders, and like it's personal to them, which is hard to separate sometimes that it is a business, but it's because it's personal. And I think that that's how Hive Agency came to be. Like you wanted to bring what you guys loved about this industry and this business together and create something unique and on your own. And you can tell that shows in everything you guys do, which is really cool. And I love seeing it. I'm like, I have no artistic ability whatsoever, but I think it's really cool when I like see it like on Instagram, the stories and the guides that you guys put together, the events, the photography, all of it. I think it's really cool. We've talked a lot about what is rewarding, but what's your favorite part of running your own business, either with being with each other or like having your own business, the clients, the work that you guys do?
I think it's just doing it like everything the way that we feel good about. Again, it's like the relationship that we have with each other, the relationship with our clients and our team is that we get to choose it all and how we want to run it. So, and like who's going to question us? No one. So that's like my favorite part about like just having a business in general, and then also doing it alongside someone who like shares that vision with me.
Yeah, it's very like, it's like freedom. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but like liberating.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. What is something, can you guys tease like that's in the works, like something exciting that you guys are working on that's in the pipeline? This will go out in about a month. So like something exciting that you guys are doing for summer, or what you guys are most looking forward to for the rest of the next few months at Hive?
We are in the we're in the process of figuring out our merch business.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, but that's exciting. It's always something cool to look forward to. And I realize I really do love the building up of like a business and processes and systems, like, and calling it my own and freedom, like to make all the decisions. And you guys seem to be like that too. So I think that'll be cool to see it all come to life. If anyone wants to work with you, how can they find you? What do you look for when bringing on a new client?
Well, I mean, if anyone wants to reach out to us, they can DM us or email us. And what was the other question?
Like, what do you look for when clients come to you, like to bring on a new client? What do you look for?
I would say passion. Like we would never work with someone that's like, nah, I don't really like my product, or, you know, we want to work with people who are like passionate, because we're going to bring that same energy right back to them.
And openness. Like they need to understand that we know what we're doing and that what we're recommending is because it's going to help them through like experience that we've gained. And it's not just for shits and giggles. Like people will come to us and they don't even understand social, so they question every bit of it. And that's just not going to work, like long term at least. And again, that goes back to us being picky with who we work with. So if you're open to hearing suggestions and to like actually wanting to grow your brand or business or whatever, then we're good.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I was talking about it with someone who does something similar to what you guys do. And yeah, like if they just want to offload the social media or something to you guys, but they don't really want to be hands-on or be the face of their brand, like then it's really not going to work. And it seems like you guys are the same way. Like you want them to be an active participant in it, not just you guys handling it for them. It's like it's a partnership. You guys work together. So I think that's cool. I will link everything in the show notes where they can find you guys. Last piece of advice from each of you on either whether from like a personal like career point, like, you know, like starting out in your careers or running your own business, like one last piece of advice.
I would say like it's okay to fail. Like you're going to fail at things, and just keep going. Like just keep going.
Yeah, I guess mine was really similar. I thought about it before you said it, so I'm not taking
It's okay, we
ideas.
have the same one.
But it's to take the risk. Like literally, the worst thing that could happen is it fails, and that's the biggest learning lesson that you. But like, if you don't try, what is it? What's the saying? Like, if you never try, you'll never know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I 100%. I'm a firm believer in all of that. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I will link everything in the show notes, and I'll talk to you guys next week.